We're now at the business end of the season, round 22. Normally it'll be the end of it, but we've got 2 rounds to go. I want to start with champion 22s and Tony Shaw. I love working with Tony and I love watching him as a young bloke coming through. He was unbelievable for Collingwood, one of the all-time greats, 313 games, 1990 Premiership captain and Norm Smith medalist. But I don't think he'd kick over 30 or 40 metres, could Tony Shaw, but some of these goals were absolutely brilliant. Watch this one, a beautiful banana kick. He's actually in the Collingwood team of the century, and you know, he coached the club as well to some difficult times, but absolute legend of the club, TJ.
And the number 22, probably one of the more revered numbers at Collingwood when you consider Bobby Rose, John Greening, still side bottom now.
Yep.
So it's certainly one of the more revered numbers at Collingwood.
Yep. Chris Scott had that number at the Brisbane Bears, which was the club's name when he started, and in 1994 was the Rising Star, the official Rising Star, which followed Nathan Buckley also having that title for his one season at the Brisbane team there in 1993. But when he burst onto the scene, people even at 18 years of age were saying he will be a future Brisbane Lions or Brisbane Bears captain, but then Michael Voss came and overtook that mantle. But the leadership was always there, the strength which we're seeing now, and obviously the leadership which he always had and is now franked into 2. He's just he's hit Bambi. Yeah. But yeah, played in 2 of those 3 flags for the Lions, and injury was the reason he didn't play in all 3, but a 2-time premiership coach as well as a 2-time premiership player.
Yeah, seriously tough, and one of those opposition players, you knew where they were at all times because they were coming for you. What an era it was for the Lions. And these 3 players who wore 22 have all played in multiple premierships. And TJ, you've already mentioned one, but let's start with Duncan. He's played in a couple of premierships, of course, such a consistent performer through this unbelievable era for Geelong. And you know, when I think of him, I think of consistency. Side bottom, I think of just brilliance. Such a great decision maker and beautiful ball user, big game player is still side bottom, nothing flustered him. And also Luke Bruce, we've spoken a lot about this year. He's tipped over 500 goals now as a small forward, another 40 odd already this year, 3 premierships, and I think going to the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure if Sidebottom will get there. I probably think he will, but just a couple of absolute stars on the biggest stage.
Round 22, I just touched on some of the great goals we've ever seen. This one is just about is my all-time favourite, from Michael Mitchell at the SCG. He took 7 bounces in this game at the SCG in round 22, and I'll never forget it. You know, growing up, the season was 1990. It was a phenomenal goal, run all the way. Unfortunately, we don't see many goals like that anymore like we used to, but that was brilliant. And then this guy, Sam Kerr's doing great things for Australia, for the Matildas. And then this guy, Daniel Kerr. What about his skills, Cornsey? You would have had to run with him a few times.
Freakish. Like, that's amazing. And he was tough as well. And you look at Judd and Cousins and Fletcher and the 4 midfielders that they had. They're just stars, hard runners.
Embley running machine. So let's take you back to 2008, round 22. It was the last of the year. It was the last time somebody kicked 100 goals in the competition. So Lance Franklin, here he goes, kicks 100 goals. And they celebrate. But up the other end, Brendan Favola stuck on 99 goals, wanting to do the same thing on the same day. And it would have been a monumental occasion. But Alistair Clarkson then parked the bus behind. And there were so many players in front of Fev, he just couldn't get there, couldn't get to the 100, finished on 99. And have a look at all these players in front of Fev. And he was filthy, Fev. To this day, still unhappy about it. Could have been the last player to kick 100.
It was a massive night, wasn't it, Brownie? The emotions running through everyone that night.
This is see Jade Rawlings jumping over the top. Fev thought he had that. Look at the numbers back. They parked the bus and didn't want him to get there, which was a bit cruel.
Well, on this round in 1996, it was one of the saddest days in football, I've got to say, because it officially brought the curtain down on the Fitzroy Football Club. And what made it sadder, I guess, was that the AFL just continued to kick them in the guts right to the end by scheduling their last ever match over in the West, where they played the Fremantle Dockers and were beaten to the tune, as you can see there, of 86 points. So a very, very sad day. Their final fling here in Melbourne, I think, was against Richmond at the MCG in the round before. But a very proud football club, still probably the best club song that was going around, probably the best jumper that was going around, but they just couldn't get the results or the backing. And for the loyal band of supporters that were with them to the end, even these scenes here as a way of goodbye there will bring back some very sad memories.
Yeah, it was a really sad way for that club to end, TJ. I think most people's second second favourite club for their lifetime from a VFL perspective. Anyway, 1995, a couple of massive mark here from Sean Smith at the reconstructed. No, we're going to go Brett Burton first, actually, from 2007 in round 22. He did this, I won't say weekly, but probably fortnightly or at least monthly, and that was a mark of the year in the final round of 2007. A genuine and regular high flyer who took a lot of marks like that. And this is the one at the then being reconstructed Gabba from Sean Smith over Gary Lyon. Many still think it's the best mark they've ever seen. At the time, it was touted as much, and if you wanted to mount the case that it was, well, it's going to stack up, I think, against anyone's.
Yeah, no doubt, Damo. In 1981, this also happened. Very, very different moment. This is a different player. No wonder he changed clubs a few times. Mark Jacko Jackson with behaviour like this, but he was on Calvin Moore. And then he's obviously, the umpire, he tells him to go away shortly. And then Calvin Moore's just wanting to play footy. Jacko, I don't know what that was, but he's carrying on. And then Calvin, how intimidating must this have been with Calvin? You didn't know what Jacko was going to do, but he was in his own mind and playing his own game. Kicked a lot of goals, Jacko.
A lot of goals.
Kicked a lot of goals.
For a lot of clubs. Yeah.
But unfortunately, just got moved on to the next one.